Grass is not greener on the other side. Stop chasing your own tail. We're going to talk about it on today's podcast. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We've realized life is a dance. The ups and downs can spin you out of your mind, but it's time to take back control. It's time to become a lifer. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We are a new breed of overachievers. Emotional mastery is our journey, and unlocking our full potential is the key. Welcome to the journey. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life. What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast. I'm so glad you joined me here today, and I'm excited to talk to you about this idea. You heard me say it in the beginning. The grass is not greener on the other side. You know, back when we were teenagers, and so maybe some of you are teenagers, it's really easy to get caught up looking for the grass being greener somewhere else, for this idea that somewhere else, something else is better than what you have and better than what you can do internally, inside. And honestly, that is a means by which to chase your own tail. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, if you've had a dog or a puppy, oftentimes you'll catch them chasing their own tail. They start playing, they see the tail out of their corner of their eyes, and they start to chase it because it's instinct. They think that they need to go after it, right? And they're not sure that it's theirs till they bite it, and then of course they kind of realize that it's their own tail. And I feel like sometimes it's easy for us in our life to get caught up in this idea that something else is better somewhere else, and not focus on where it is that we're at. And so as we start to chase that thing, that idea that's somewhere else besides where we're at, we start chasing our own tail. This is a challenge, right? Because we waste a lot of time in our life going after something and believing that the success or the improvement is outside ourselves. And this is a massive challenge, right? When we believe the success is outside of us or the failure is outside of us, then we stop looking internally. We stop reflecting on the things that we've done to get us to the place that we're at currently. In so many times, many of my students are dancers, and in many cases, they think that it's some magic pill. It's some magic thing that is going to talk or that's going to tell them how to become a champion all of a sudden. And in many instances, it's about how you became a champion from the inside out. What did you do to take that next step to become the champion from within? In so many instances, the champions, as you talk to them and interview them, I've interviewed many champions, they stop and they reflect on how they got there, and they go, you know what? I had to overcome my own challenges, my own issues. And one of those is looking outside yourself instead of looking within yourself. It's always the case that if you're looking away from you, if you're not analyzing and evaluating what you have internally, then you're always without instead of within. And this is really, really important. Look at something you've done recently. Maybe something that you haven't been successful at, and you want it to be. How many of us have been guilty in the past of saying, well, it's because of this thing, or it's because of that thing, or it's because of that person? How many times have we been able to step back and look within and say, you know what, no, it's because of me. It's because I fell short here, I didn't do quite enough there. And this is important, right? And we can take this overboard. And there is a conversation that we can have about being too overcritical. But right now, let's talk about this one. When we're looking for something else, someone else, to make the changes in us that we need to make within, that's when we're going to find ourselves in trouble. The grass is not greener on the other side of the fence. It's just different grass. And that's it. It's just different grass. And in many instances, you might have taken care of the lawn differently. Now, how come some people, when they make adjustments and they make switches in their life, they go, well, this is why I had success. It was still outside of themselves. Well, because when they made the commitment to change, they did just that. They made the commitment to change. They decided they were going to believe in the direction they were going to go next. And as they gained the belief, they then followed through with what they needed to from the inside out. And so, in some instances, it's the belief. Well, okay, let's get real. In almost every instance, it's your belief. It's your belief of who you are and what you can accomplish. And so that must be changed from within. Many of you know I teach ballroom dance and have for many years since I was young. And I've seen it so many times where a couple can make the change from the inside. They come to me and they say, you know what, I believe I can become the champion. I believe I can take it to that next level. I believe I can win. And so many instances, it's winning the game of life around what it is they're doing. Now, the dancing will come as they believe. But in so many instances, as happens with every coach out there, a couple will come and then they'll believe somewhere else has a better solution for them. They'll leave, and in some instances, it works out. In some instances, if they can believe that that's where they're going to find success, it's not that the grass was any greener on the other side of the fence. It was that they believed that they could do it. And the onset of having that belief changed everything. So it all comes back down to within. What can you do from the inside out? You see, you don't have to make massive changes outside. In many instances, it's the massive changes inside that make the biggest difference. You know, one of the best life coaching activities is ballroom dance. If you're not a ballroom dancer, that's okay. But dancing teaches you so many things about life skills, about partnering, about how to handle critique, about how to be coachable, about how to deal with your own inadequacies and your own successes without getting overboard. You know, there's lots of things. Business deals with this as well. Becoming an entrepreneur, that is a life coaching lesson in itself. Being able to work on your own self. I know that's a little bit reiterated, but to be able to work on yourself and take yourself to the next level will almost always help you to improve whatever it is you're doing. Now think about that for a second. As long as you have information coming in the door, as long as you are improving and you're finding that improvement, almost everybody will suggest not bouncing from one piece of information to another. There's a great book out there, and maybe I'll link it at some point. And they talk about, hey, you know what? Right now you're listening to this piece of information, and for a while, do this. Do these steps to get from point A to point B. And as you do these steps to get from point A to point B, don't get distracted. There are lots of great teachers in the world. But don't get distracted. Finish these steps from point A to point B. Get there. Improve this. Do this. And find your success. But take care of yourself first before you start looking outside to make the changes. Look within. Now, why don't we do that? Well, it's easy. The emotions are the key. we get nervous, we get afraid, we feel inadequate, we feel like we're not enough. We feel like, gosh, maybe we are enough, but we're not going to take the chance that we aren't. So we're going to put it on somebody else. We're going to blame the coach. We're going to blame our teacher. We're going to blame the mentor. But it's not them. It's not from the outside. If they've done it, if your coach, if your mentor, if your boss has been there before, if they've done it, if they've experienced it and they've gone through the trials, they can share with you the shortcuts to attain that thing. And you just have to change yourself. You have to change from within, and you need the emotional strength to do that. Well, what does that entail? Well, the emotional strength entails something that seems quite easy, but takes a lot of practice. Can you be happy on your own? Can you be sad on purpose? Can you actually be confident on command? Can you be calm? Well, yeah, sure, all of those things you can do. And if you don't get that yet, it's okay. You'll learn. You can take the time to learn these things. But if you haven't done that yet, you need to. You need to find a way to do it. And then, my son mentioned this the other day, and he said in one of the podcasts, if you remember, he said, one of the tips he had was play a video game that frustrates you and learn patience. Well, why? Well, because you have to learn by doing. And sometimes knowing that you can do your emotions is not enough. You have to actually be in situations where maybe your patience would be tried, and you have to learn to have patience, to be able to feel calm in that moment, when maybe the moment requires something other than feeling calm. Guys, let me wrap up with this simple thing. Stop chasing your tail. Look within. The answers will come, and you'll gain knowledge from outside. There's no doubt about it. But then fix from the inside out. Stop chasing the grass being greener somewhere else. Start looking at what grass you have. Appreciate what you have. I know that sounds funny, but appreciate the green grass under your feet. What do you have to be thankful for? What do you have right now? And use that to improve yourself from the inside out. Guys, I hope you can take this and run with it. We all have this at times. We all go through this at moments, and we all have to actually deal with this. It's part of our journey. And it comes and it goes. So I hope this helps a little bit. I hope it helps you find your way to maybe looking inside for just a moment longer and realizing that you do indeed have some really incredible control if you'll just practice a little bit. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends and help us change the world. I know you're listening to this because you're on your path to being a lifer, or you already are a lifer and you've committed. So don't forget to share the podcast with somebody that needs it, somebody that needs to hear this message. And we sure appreciate you. We'll talk to you next time. Take care. Want more magic for life? If so, then reserve your copy of my new book. Get your copy at everyminutebook.com. Inside this book, you'll find the secrets to attaining the next level of performance in anything you do. Learn the secrets behind emotional mastery that'll start you on your new journey of being a lifer. Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or an artist, this book will change your life forever. Get your copy reserved today.